Good evening, everyone. It's 5:31. I will call to order this regular meeting of the Bandera City Council. We are at 511 Main Street. It is Tuesday, July 5th at 5:31 p.m. And council members Gibson, Russ, and Hasty are present. City Secretary, Deputy, your title, no, sorry, and Deputy Marshal is present. Tony Coons is joining us. And if you will join me in rising for the invocation and pledge. Well,
Most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us all together this evening. We'd ask for your blessings upon the Bandera City Council, and certainly on everyone who cannot be here this evening. Lord, thank you for all your many blessings. Lord, please, once again, we'd ask humbly for some rain. Lord, thank you for us not having any major catastrophes over the weekend. Most of all, Lord, thank you for your Son who died upon the cross for our many sins. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You're gonna get it one of these days.
I already called you enrolled when I saw you walk in. Okay. Item 3 is visitors to be heard. And I will just call these as I see them on the list, starting with Cindy Beckham. You have that timer, Jill?
Well, it won't be long.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cindy Beckham, I'm president of the BBA, and on behalf of all the businesses and organizations, basically, in our community, in the city of Bandera, and the county, I know we're only the city, but I am asking for consideration from the city council, maybe in a special meeting. I know that we can't interact right now, but to please consider the temporary halt of charging admission to the city park on the weekends. Due to the drought, the reduced water in the river, no flow of the river, to at least allow our visitors on the weekends to openly go and have a picnic with their family. We have very few things that they come to Bandera for, except for the swimming in the river and all this type of thing and activities. And we all know that we're, I think, stage 5, a water restriction. And so we are definitely seeing the impact with the number of tourists coming to town. And those that do, they ask, where's the park? And is it free? And we are one of the few parks that I've ever attended in my entire life that actually charges to get inside for a city park. So I'm asking if we can waive the fees just until we get some rain, something to move the river along where it's more of an appealing attraction. If you look at the fees on the website, I will go ahead and state it right now. I noticed that there's a couple of things that need to be clarified. Friday's not addressed at all. It goes Monday through Thursday, and then Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. So you may want to update that. And then also it doesn't state when the fees begin, what day of, like month to date and month to date that it ends. So I do ask that of you, and hopefully it says temporarily nothing. So, but I think that our businesses would appreciate it. I know that our tourists that come to town would definitely appreciate to be able to grab a meal or something or go sit by the beautiful cypress trees. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Tammy, will you help me with your last name?
Bolting House.
Bolting House, okay.
That's a tongue twister. Okay, I wrote something down. So I'm reading, I'm not quoting, because in case she can do that, I can. Okay, so, yes, I work for the Chamber of Commerce, but I'm not representing the Chamber of Commerce here. I'm representing as an employee that answers the phone there, okay? And as an individual in this community. I'm also just basically reiterating what she just said. I would like to request on my behalf, as the person that answers the phone, that gate fees be considered to be suspended until we can get more rain, allowing for better water flow. I answer phone calls at least 2 to 3 times a week now in this season from individuals who are visiting particularly and who want to have a family gathering. And they want to know, where can we go for a family gathering and for their children. And we already know there's not a lot of kids' activities going on in Bandera on the weekends when the families want something to take their kids to do. So my first response to them is always City Park. Go down, enjoy the water, enjoy the river, enjoy the little things that they can do as far as children down there. But the thought of a family having to go through the gate and pay what they would have to pay today, I don't want to, okay, well, be prepared to pay for the gas to get here and then pay for the get into the city park. So $40, $50, that's a little pricey, and I really think that suspending those fees for now, when there's not even a lot to do down there but sit at the picnic table. Let me read what I wrote, sorry. I said I was going to read. It would make it a bit more friendly for our visitors who may simply want to have a picnic lunch along the river or feed the ducks. With the rain causing the extremely dry conditions, they already can't barbecue, and the slow moving to stagnant water makes them weary to even put their toes in the river. So, but we want them to enjoy our city park anyway. So I think that the least we can do, or that you can do, is for those who desire some peaceful time down by the Medina River in our very own city park, is to consider please suspending the gate fees beginning immediately and at least until our extremely dry conditions are relieved by some rainfall. Thank you.
And Rilla Stevens, please.
What I have to say is not going to make any of you happy, but I never have been known for that. So, this has to stop. I understand you've had no applications for treasurer, and that's not true. And it's about time. You can't get people to apply to run for council. You can't get them to apply for mayor or whatever. Unless you start, it doesn't matter whether you like them or not. If they have the guts to come down here and apply, they need to be heard. And I'm really tired of it. So it's about time, and I have proof that you have applicant, but you're not even recognizing it. So it's coming up on your agenda, you might want to think of it.
Thank you, Rilla. Is that all for visitors? Okay. Item 4 is our workshop. A discussion over the 2022-23 fiscal year general fund departments, finance department, marshals department. So I have mine on page 9. Is that where you guys show you left off to? We finished the secretary department at our last workshop. Use me. Anybody taking the lead on this section?
I think Suzanne and Allison just kind of filled in the
We kind of left
pretty
it the
much
same
what
as it
everything was already.
prior
So it's-
because we don't have a treasurer currently, so it's kind of hard to say what we're gonna pay one that we don't currently have. But I do want to point out this one is split like the admin was. So I don't know if y'all want to keep it that way or if you want to make it all one department like we did with the admin position.
I felt like that request was for across the board. Is that what, instead of showing the splits across the
I
board?
think the consensus was,
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So combine it all into one, just out of the treasurer department.
Yes. So in that case, then where's the specialist gonna go? That's split with multiple departments.
So I think what y'all decided is just department heads are gonna be one department, and then everybody else that is the way they are is gonna
Goes
stay the
in
way
that
they are.
Okay.
because a department head, I mean, they should really only come into their own department, I would think. So I would say the specialist is gonna stay the same for now.
Yeah, because the specialist actually does float from department to department.
So we'll have to change that number for the salary to combine. And then everything else, like I said, we left the same. Since we don't have anybody.
Yes, Tony, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Did we get the increase on the TRMS and the percentage increase? Like the
Is that on this
insurance and the other things? That would be for everybody, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if we got
Did you get the number
it.
for the insurance officially, Jill?
Me, yes, 12% increase, and TMRS went down from 11.74 to 10.76.
7.6.
So TMRS went down,
1%.
Yeah.
yeah,
Insurance-
basically,
and
and
insurance
insurance went up.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Give them the insurance again, please. Percentage that it went up.
12%.
And do you usually do like a, almost like you go out for insurance to see?
Yeah, I
what-
already have.
Yeah.
I've already done the spreadsheet and sent it out, so it's with the broker right now who's going out. We're in the risk pool right now, and usually that's our best because it's a bunch of small cities or medium-sized cities. So generally we get better quotes, but you know, even the broker that goes out to everybody has said insurance is going up across the board because of COVID over the last 2 years and all the claims, so.
It was expected.
Yes,
Thank you.
Darcy.
Jill and Allison, on line 510-3000, would you explain the software subscription fees and
That's our Tyler Technologies, our Encode, which is the system we use for everything that we do. It's more
upgraded? or-
expensive for the finance department because it does more for finance. It keeps track of all of our wages, all of our invoices, 1099s, W-2s. So it's just costs more for the finance department portion of it, of the software.
And looking at the numbers, we expect that it's gonna,
I don't think you should look at the re-estimated actual.
okay.
That's what we got last time. It's not a true projection.
Not for certain things like this because there's, you know, sometimes we only pay once a year. So the software doesn't know that. It's just predicting we're gonna keep paying what we've already paid, even though we're only gonna pay it one time.
On the next, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go
The
ahead.
contract labor on page 10,
Mhm.
510, 50/50. Why have we zeroed that out?
We were paying contract labor when we first lost our treasurer back in October. We were paying a contract labor person to come in and do the payroll.
Okay.
And then I learned how to do the payroll, so we don't feel like
Okay.
at this point we're gonna need to contract out any work right now.
Yes.
Is that the same for contract services? Or explain that
Contract
to me.
services is, typically it's just the shredding and things like that, so it really shouldn't be zeroed out. We should have a low number there.
Okay.
But some of the other contracting might have actually come out of there as well, when we were kind of flopping between contractor and not.
So we can expect to see a number there?
Yes, I think the shredding
It's split between all the departments.
is about $30 a month per department.
Yeah.
Do we still only have one person trained in payroll?
Yes.
I don't know if it's probably wise for us to.
I mean, I could probably do it if I like had to. I did it with the contract person 2 or 3 times, and we've kind of done it, and I've kind of learned some from her, but if we were like in a real pinch, could work I have notes.
I mean, I would say this even if it wasn't,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, like the
Yeah.
contract was a backup to us, and if we don't have a backup in-house, then we should budget for a backup.
Right.
Good point. Are you guys ready to go into the marshal's department? You are?
Yep.
Yep. Will?
You have the floor.
Hello, everybody. Well, actually, I've moved forward from my normal position, so
Okay, I'll
Go
start.
for it, Jerry.
All right, first line,
I would be.
10, 5, 12, 1,000.
I would be surprised if you didn't.
Yeah. What's up with that? The increase?
The increase. That reflects, as shortly as possible, that reflects a 20% increase, 20% salary increase. That's what I'm asking for. I will tell you my, and I don't know if I'll get that, I would like to. That's across the board. Of course, that would depend on merit and evaluations and stuff. I will tell you that, for example, Bandera County, the largest law enforcement, probably close with San Antonio, 20% across the board they just gave, and they have a sign-in bonus right now. They just did that. One of my reserve officers, his son, is one of their recruiting poster deputies. So that's I can't tell you if it's a $2,000 or a $5,000 sign-on bonus, but that's right next door. That's what we're dealing with as far as recruiting. I did a recruiting survey. I didn't pay for it. I just went to the TML job search website and went back for the last 30 days. I did this prior to the last budget workshop, and some of these towns in Texas I've never even heard of. But Watauga I have they start off 63 to 76,000 a year. Victoria 48 to 68 starting. Hutto 61 to 65. This is every city that's hiring for police officers in Texas that listed the salary for a beginning police officer. Cleburne 53 to 71. River Oaks 48 to 54. Colleyville 62 to 80 with a $5,000 sign-in bonus. Louisville 72 to 91. Cibolo 57. Burnett 58 to 65. Oak Point 60 to 62. Weatherford 55 to 78. Boyd 53 to 58. Keene is 46. Tasca is $16 an hour to $18 an hour, with no idea of how many hours, whether it's 40 or 84. The Colony 67 to 86. Natalia pays $17.14 an hour. Lubbock probationary is $60,000, so that's an officer that's in training, that's going to the academy. Lakeway is looking for an assistant chief. They pay $98,000 to $130,000. Never even heard of Lakeway. Southside Place,
Yeah.
50 to 65,000. Westward Village, 50 to 60,000. Hamlin, 1750 to 1850 an hour. Uvalde PD, 45,739. Kerrville PD, 59 to 69. Bernie PD, 56 to 70. Bandera County SO, 47 to 48. Hondo is hiring, but they didn't list a dollar amount. Manor, which I've never heard of, is 54 to 73, and Eagle Lake is 57,000 with a 6,000 sign-on bonus.
So where, in your listing, what is the salary price range?
We are starting at 49.4, and that's with the 3% cost of living raise that y'all were so gracious with.
And that's before your 20% increase request. Okay.
Correct.
Yes, Jerry.
I'm not sure how much weight we can put in it, but we did have a salary survey done. And it showed that our Marshal's department was above average in their pay. And I can't explain the differences, but I'm just bringing that up.
A couple of years ago, we were great. A couple of years ago, we were I was proud to say we were ahead of Bernie and Kerrville both. But like I said, I've said it a couple times before. A couple of years ago, when we put out an ad for that we needed a deputy marshal, within a couple of weeks, we had 20 or 30 applicants, and it wasn't long, it didn't take very long, we usually had 4 or 5 that were worth interviewing. We've had one opening since back around the Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays that I've just filled, and I'm nothing against that young man, but with his experience level, I wouldn't have even read his application a year ago. Wouldn't have even read his application. Now, he's a fine young man, but we're going to spend a considerable amount of money training him. He's going to be in training. He's going to be with another officer for at least 6 more weeks, if not longer. And that's money we're spending. That, you know, and I don't know that if we, I can't promise that if we do the 20% route, that gets us 20 qualified applicants beating on the door the very next day. But like I said, every single department that's hiring for the last 30 days that had up on the TML website that had their salary numbers up there, and I only put Hondo because it's right next door. They don't have their salary numbers up there, but it's right next door. And that's what we're dealing with. That's what, you know. And I'll tell you my budget story. When I worked for the city of Longview, we added 2 more officers in the warrant division, and that was my first experience with the budget. And the court director, she told me, you need to work on that. You've gone to this certified public management training, get after it. So I added, we need 2 new pistols, we need 2 duty belts, we need uniforms, we did it, put 2 new cars on there. She looked through all that, she said, you did pretty good, but are you stupid? And I said, I don't understand. She said, well, you put two more cars, you added 2 cars. I still didn't understand. She said, well, you asked for two more cars and you're gonna get 0. I said, well, you're not griping at me for asking for 2 more pistols, so that doesn't matter, that'll work itself out. I said, well, what should I have asked for? She said, you should have asked for 4 more cars. I said, I don't understand. She said, if you ask for 4 cars, you will get 2.
So you're asking for 20%, you expect 10?
No, I'm asking for what I need. I hate to be this way. I hate to.
I just want to be clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I sat down with Allison and the mayor, I told the same story, and they looked at me like I was crazy.
That's true.
I thought it was crazy too. And I guess maybe it's crazy to tell the story to y'all. But I told her, I said, so I'm going to have to go to this council meeting. How am I going to have to defend it? She said, don't worry, you're not going to have to defend it. It makes no sense if you're asking for 2 more people, but 4 cars for them to drive. She said, you won't have to explain it, but you'll get 2 cars out of the deal. Ultimately, I know times are hard right now. I know that things are expensive. We have a lot of problems, a lot of stuff to deal with, but, you know, understand that hiring inexperienced officers or very limited experienced officers is expensive as well. So I'm asking for 20, hoping for that. I need some help, so please just take that into consideration.
Yes, Jerry.
Thank you.
Without studying this real close, I can't figure it out quick enough, but does that include the increase in the Social Security and all the other expenses, health insurance, et cetera?
No, sir, that is
That's not showing in here.
Strictly the.
That's important to me.
Oh, yeah, it's.
To know. I mean, we're looking at 20% increase on salary, but that doesn't account for the increase in benefits that it's going to cost us. So need the whole picture, for me anyway, to be able to make a decision on something like that.
I will get my trusty cohort there.
So, not everything is, like, when your salary is increased, you pay, your workers' comp is increased because it's a percentage of pay. What else is a percentage of pay?
14% to TMRS.
So retirement,
Mhm.
it's, insurance is not affected.
Yeah, no, Social Security and,
Medicare.
Social Security, Medicare, for Social Security, Medicare,
Yeah.
retirement, workers' comp.
yeah, the life insurance will be the same, it doesn't change.
So you can go
That's it.
through and increase all of those by 20%.
Yeah.
And another question I have about this, Will, so the council had discussed the 3% across the board increase. Are you asking for 20% on top of that?
Well, he's not asking for a COLA,
That's already been
correct?
done.
Correct.
Yeah, he's asking for an increase.
Increase in salary, okay.
And then he.
Oh, and we're calling that COLA this year. That's- okay.
I got the impression you were asking for 20% to budget out to where you will divvy out based on merit or use it for your new hires to increase your base
Correct.
salary.
I'm not asking for a 20%
He's
across
not
the
asking
board.
for across the board.
I'm not a fan of that in general.
Me neither.
I would say, if say, y'all signed off on that and come October 1, I had 20% to play with, we would up the starting salary somewhere south of 20%. And start looking at, the ones I have now, giving them a raise, but not 20%. But, like I said, I believe that I have to be a good steward of, because, we can't nickel and dime the city to death either, but, we have to get employees, and we have to train them, and we have to keep them. But I've been where all you could do was give a raise to the new hires, and first thing you know, people that have been here 10 years are making this amount, and we're hiring new people that are making $5,000 a year more, because we're in the interest of hiring new, good people. But the people that have been here 10 years, it doesn't take them long to figure out these new ones are getting hired or making more money. And guess what? The ones that have been here 10 years are quitting because they can go somewhere else and get that sign-on bonus and that good money, and they feel appreciated, and all the knowledge they've gained, knowing the people here and the relationships they've built and the training we've paid for, left too. So you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. You have to keep your eye on that as well.
Yes, Tim.
Yeah, that always, that's been a struggle in all industries for forever. The loyal ones always tend to get looked over. The training budget, you have 3,000, with the new hires coming in and you mentioning the fact that you've got an officer that's training the new hires. Is that an adequate budget for the annual?
Yeah, I think so. We are still doing a considerable amount of our training online. The new one is gonna have to use some of that. We're gonna have to send him. He would like to go get intoxilizer trained. We're
Okay.
we end up using some of that, but
I just thought it seemed low for an annual based on what you had said a minute ago, so I just wanted to make sure.
we get a very good deal on Police One Academy, which is online training, and we pay a set amount, and they can use as much of it, and it self-reports to TCOL,
Gotcha.
to the state,
Thank you.
and it saves us all that gas and hotel. And I was like, 20% is a big number, and I certainly don't expect a yes or a no tonight, because that's something you have to chew on, I know.
Yes, Tim.
So, the subscription fees and stuff, is that like the programs and things that you've got in your cars? Didn't we get a new one that, are you using, wasn't there one that you had requested a couple years ago, and are you, the, computer and office equipment, the 3,000, first line, last group on page 11?
Software subscription fees?
The bottom of the page.
Yeah. So that's Tyler Technology and the system we all use. Marshal's office uses that technically because we import the citations into Tyler Technology. He also pays for Cop Sync, which is what they have in their cars. And then we pay monthly fees for Microsoft, which is all of our Word, Excel, our emails, and then Time Clock Plus.
And so, well, correct me if I'm wrong, it was just a few years ago that you had asked for something new, like some kind of program to where you look at, like you hooked into another system.
That's
that
almost
was-
certainly is cop sync that you're talking about.
Okay.
We're
And you're,
paying in the 25 to 3 or so a year for the licensing and user fees and stuff on that. We're still using
but
it.
that covers all, that amount isn't per officer, it's
No.
obviously, so, okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, Jerry.
Line 10, 512, 4050, fuel and lubricants. I can kinda guess why that increased so much, but you tell me.
Yeah, just because of this crazy gas prices. that
Okay.
Currently.
And-
Let's go, Brandon, everything.
The 10, 512, 4200, vehicle maintenance.
Because it's going up. We've got older stuff. We've got those two Fords are just they're out of warranty. They're getting more expensive I'm not a Ford person, but I found out the catalytic converter on one of them was bad, which was a warranty replacement. While they had it over there, but it has to be done at the Ford house. While they had it over there, they called and said, "Oh, we discovered the water pump's leaking." I said, "Okay, I can probably fix that here at the shop over here probably." They said, "Well, you actually can't because you know where I'm going with this?" Yeah. We have to take the motor and transmission loose and lift it out of there. And I said, "You're kidding me." So, yeah, that water pump, and they said, "Well, and honestly, while you've got all that done,
Yeah, okay.
there's some seals and bearings and stuff that it's more cost effective to go out." So that water pump leak-in was like $4,200. Yeah. And, you know, it's things like that you know, I wanted to say a bunch of ugly stuff, but at least he was honest enough to tell me that instead of, so we, you know, spent a couple more $100 while they had all that out of there. Of course, I was angry because the seat mount was broken, and he was supposed to fix that too while he didn't do that. But yeah, it's that kind of stuff. And we have the Dodge pickup out here that was the code enforcement truck. We're trying to figure out what we want to do, whether we're going to send it to auction or donate it to their public works department. Because it's just no longer, it's not viable as any kind of emergency vehicle or constantly being driven. It's expensive for maintenance. It was a drug seizure, so it never cost the city anything. So it's at the end of the life of us, but we were trying to figure out if it's better, more cost efficient to give it to Public Works or send it to auction.
On page
Go ahead, Darcy.
Your contract services, what are those for?
I'll be honest, I'm trying to find it, and then
Yeah, what?
at least Jerry tells me what line it is.
Oh, 5100, well, under services.
Right, it's kind of in the middle of page 12. Only one line under services.
I think typically that's kind of a catch-all. Sometimes it's been used for radar calibration, or what else have we used that?
Shredding goes there for sure, but
Yeah, some of the stuff we've,
So is that what we call oh shit money?
I don't
Like
use
where-
that. I don't use that term, but we
That's
have
what I call it
things
in my
like
office.
this, you know, we used to have a shredder in there, back there in the marshal's office. But when we went to this boxed deal where everybody pitches in, we got rid of the shredder because it was just in the way, and we only have a finite amount of space, so.
I mean, really, Jill, how much shredding do y'all have to do here where you can't shred your own stuff? Like,
We have a lot.
Yeah, but the thing is they recycle it. They'll recycle it. We don't have a way to recycle that in our county.
if you've ever been to the VFW, you'll see we have lots of stuff And we've spent a lot of
I'll leave
time
that
out there getting rid of stuff that's past retention that we don't need to be holding on to.
A lot of stuff.
A lot.
Well, that I understand, sending that, but sending boxes of that stuff is gonna cost one finite amount, and you can send it off rather than sending, you know.
I don't think the shredding company coming in once a month and picking up 2 boxes is very costly. It's not that expensive.
How much is it total a year for the shredding?
What's the total cost for the year? Do you have it?
No, not, this is software subscriptions.
We shred, we're going digital now, so when people do their paper applications, we shred it. It has their confidential information. They shred tickets and stuff back there. Will puts his stuff that's past retention in the shred box. I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's like $80 a month or something.
Yeah,
It's like $80 a month, and they
Total.
come for the whole office. And they come and they pick up, we have a box in the hall and one in my office.
so when they do the large pickups, they bill us based on pallets. However many pallets they take is a fee. I can't tell you what it is, but we've done that twice.
Does anybody have anything final for the workshop so we can move on to the regular agenda items? Okay, so that puts us at item 5, the consent agenda. Item A, approval of minutes from the May 17th, 2022 public hearing, May 17th, 2022 regular meeting, June 7, 2022 regular meeting, June 15, 2022 special meeting, June 21, 2022 regular meeting. And item B, discussion and possible action on a resolution ordering a general election of the qualified voters of the city of Bandera for the purpose of electing a mayor and 2 city council members to serve 2-year terms. Is there anyone would like anything taken out of the consent agenda? No, Darcy, do you have a motion?
I do.
Go
Move
for
to
it.
approve?
Darcy moves to approve, Tony seconds? Okay. All in favor? All in favor and none opposed. Item 6, discussion and possible action on the following items. A, consideration, discussion, and possible action concerning award of construction contract for the Texas CDBG grant number 7220011, City of Bandera's Water System Improvement Project to include Texas CDBG Section 3 goals. Derek, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, I'm so glad you're here to walk us through this agenda item.
Yeah, this is an easy one, so bottom
Easy for
line is,
you.
this is the 2019 CDBG grant awarded to the city. It's for replacement of putting in smart water meters for residential connections. It does not include all of the residential collections, but we did have a fixed budget. And then also, these CDBG projects have to be for low to moderate income areas of the city. So we're kind of restricted by that too. So it's basically those areas where we're LMI, low to moderate income, meet that criteria. And so it's, what is it, 600 and something meters out of, you'll probably have about 900 to 1,000 residential meters if my memory serves correctly, within the city and within the ETJ, or their CCN service area, which includes area inside the city limits and outside. So anyway, with that, in your packet, you'll see what the grant administrator Langford put in there. It's basically just information outlining, the purpose and the goals for these type of programs. The award amount for y'all was $275. That's on the second page. Of that, $215,000 is the construction budget. And I'm gonna go to the nuts and bolts of this. I mean, if y'all have any questions over the Langford stuff, I can try to answer that. But you should have 2 sheets here that have a recommendation letter. So we had 2 bidders who we received on the 23rd, and they were pretty close. They were separated by, what is that? Less than 20,000, or 20,000, if I can do math, 22,000. We had Secure Vision in the amount of 217, and Core and Main in the amount of 239. So we're recommending that we award it to the low bidder. It is 2,000 over, 2,000 and change, 2,820 over the grant budget, but we have some items in there that we can underrun, like meter boxes and valves that we feel like very confident that we can underrun those quantities. as we do this project to get it to come in right within the $250,000 budget. So, we're recommending that the council, award the project to, Secure Vision of America in the amount of $217,820.11. And if there's any questions, yeah.
Yes, so I'm curious about the section 3 of the grant, where it's talking about, the bids and proposals coming from section 3 qualified. Have we verified that these are section 3 qualified?
So the areas that we're doing, they are, yes, they are.
The areas that we're doing,
What
yes.
page are you on that?
So right now I'm on 25. This,
And part. It's talking about the grant recipients, if you go to 24. Economic opportunities generated by CBD funds to low and very low income persons. And that means, which bullet were you referring to? Businesses?
so I'm talking about where it's saying that the information of the, to submit a bid or proposal for the project is from a section 3 business.
What,
The top first bullet on page
Okay.
25.
Yeah.
Mine shows 20, oh,
okay, yeah,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
Does that not say what I'm reading it to say?
Yeah, but, you know, with these projects, there are minority requirements, participation requirements, but for the project, to award the project, we have to follow state procurement, which means we have to award it to the lowest qualified bidder.
Okay.
So we've checked their qualifications, we have to go with the lowest one, as long as they're qualified to do the work in there.
And the
I
grant
don't-
writer was here for the bid opening.
Okay,
And got all the information together.
What confuses me is why they're providing this to us as a program requirement, saying that it has to be awarded to a section 3 business, meaning it's owned by low-income persons. So how do those two reconcile? I hope I
So-
didn't ignore anybody.
So
regarding
it's LMI areas, but also we have to follow Davis-Bacon wage, labor wages.
that. Okay.
So the contractor is gonna have to undergo, we have to do, the grant administrators, not us, the grant administrator will do labor interviews with
Okay.
workers, and they're gonna make sure that that contractor is paying a certain wage rate for different classifications of employment, and they have to submit, payroll and all that kind of stuff.
I
So the
know.
the grant administrators, Langford, will make sure that those,
That this
that the
is-
section 3 parts are done. And we have to do that on every one that we've done.
Right, it just
So they'll
says
be
that,
met.
I just
Go
wanna,
ahead.
it says ensuring that the section 3 businesses have the information to submit a bid or proposal for the project. Doesn't mean they're insistent, that doesn't mean we have to have them, we just have to make it available to them.
Which we're covered by making it available to everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. I mean, like I said, all these requirements have generally been the same for all of
Okay.
these CDBG projects we've done in the past. Since 2017, we've probably done about 3 of them for you.
And it's 639 meters.
Okay, yeah, right.
Great. Anybody have a motion? Darcy?
Move to approve.
Award the construction contract in the amount of $217,820.11 to Secure Vision of America.
Yep.
So moved. Okay, and Jerry seconds, thank you.
Is that your motion?
Yep.
Jerry seconds.
All in favor, or any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Thank
This
you.
will be good. I mean, we'll eventually have to upgrade all of them, but, these are smart meters so the meter reading, the accuracy of the meters is better, so you're gonna have less loss, through the meters. In other words, you're gonna be selling them exactly what they're using and not some less amount, which older meters tend to do. And then also, it's gonna cut the cost down for reading meters, so it'll be good all the way around.
And what did you say the percentage of total meters this is?
Probably about 70%.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And this is a
And it's residential.
2019 grant, so we could get a 2020 also.
With the
So this
rest of them.
grant is from 2019, that's how long it's
Yeah,
been in process.
yeah, so we're still waiting on another one that's
This
pending.
takes time.
Yeah.
And that one's for water line replacement.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Derek. Okay, we'll move on to item B,
Thank you, Jill.
discussion and possible action on choosing a closing date for the city treasurer applicants. Yes, Tony,
I'd like to make a motion to make that date July 15th.
July 15. Is there a second for that motion?
Sure.
Okay. A motion and a second to close the application date for July 15. Any discussion? Yes, Tony?
So the reason for that is it's a Friday, it's a good nice half of the month, and then it gives us a couple of weeks to review applications and try to get somebody in here before the really high-end heat of, gets settled. Let's just say we need to get settled before we get into the last 2 key months of budget.
Did we did postpone that would go on the agenda the first meeting in August, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So I'm just wondering if there's any harm in leaving it open another week, or, go ahead, Darcy.
That's where I was going to. I was thinking more of August, the first week in August or even August 5th.
Well, it was postponed to the August 2nd meeting because we have that deadline for the certification class, like that starts on the 15th. That's why we timed it out like that.
Yeah.
So I would suggest keeping it in July.
Yeah, I'm fine with that the last week in July. I feel like, because as far as I know, and I'm supposed to get the applications as well copied on them, and I haven't gotten any more. So when we have one candidate that I'm aware of, and I'm worried that, if we only have 5 more or 10 more days, I'm concerned that, we don't have a candidate pool.
Did you get the past ones as well by chance?
Just what we had in our packet, but no, I don't have them via email.
Had you asked?
No, I don't know.
Jerry, did you have
I
something?
got one on Friday, that's the only one I've received, and I have not forwarded it yet, because I was out of the office on Friday.
Okay, no worries. I wouldn't have looked at it until like 3 o'clock this afternoon anyway. Maybe.
So what date are y'all?
Well, the motion on the table is for the 15th.
Right, so
And
the
I just
next
did that
Friday
for
is the
open
22nd,
discussion.
and then the Friday after that's the 29th. And then we'll be on the meeting August 2nd.
I'm okay with the 22nd. 22nd, I'm good with that.
So as Darcy's suggesting, the 22nd, that would give council a full week with that information ahead of the interviews on the 2nd. Yes?
I think that sounds better. Gives a little bit more time. But we do have a motion on the table.
Yes, we should.
Hence the discussion part of it.
Yes. Yes, Tony.
I'd like to amend my motion to make it July 22nd.
Okay. Christine, you second that change?
Yes.
So the motion amended to July 22nd. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Yes, all in favor. Thank you, Council. Item C, discussion and possible action on a request from the Bandera Economic Development Corporation to have the Public Works Department repair potholes in the BEDC parking lot at 11th and Cedar.
So on page 35 is a letter, or I'm sorry, 34. I skipped. That was a request from Laura Davenport, I think is the vice president maybe of the EDC, requesting that. We got some prices, and it looks like the total would be $792.77 for our Public Works Department to do that work. And then when it went on the agenda, the attorney pointed out page 36, which is out of the local government code, and basically said that the EDC would need to pay, that the city can't just give away funds or give away the employees' time. So they would need to pay the $792, which would include the employees' labor, for the city to stripe that EDC parking lot. So the motion would be, it'd have to include that amount if it was approved.
And so to clarify, that means to bill the EDC. Okay, yes, Tony?
So I think it's a reasonable request. However, we did discuss, discussing with them in the workshop about paving both parking lots, the one for the Methodist parking lot as well as that one, and trying to just do the whole thing. And so with that in mind, I would like a motion to make a motion.
Yes, go ahead.
May we table this until discussion at the workshop? That's my motion.
Okay, do you have a date for that?
28th. It's the
Post-
28th.
Can we
July
postpone it to
28th.
the 28th?
I'll-
Sorry, Tony, can you please restate your motion and then I'll wait for a
I
second?
would like to postpone this discussion until after our July 28th workshop with the EDC.
Okay,
Alright, thank you.
so to the first regular meeting after the workshop. Okay.
Sorry, who seconded that? Jerry?
Nobody yet.
Oh, okay. I was
Second,
listening
okay,
to the
thanks.
attorney.
Did you have your hand up in addition? Yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, I only had it up.
Just a second, okay, Darcy.
I just wanna make sure, when I was at the last EDC meeting, they hadn't, been notified that we would like to have a workshop with them. I did let them know that they might be, told about that, but that I didn't wanna speak on behalf of city council when I was acting as a citizen sitting at an EDC meeting. So I wanna make sure that, we let the EDC know that we would like to have a workshop with them officially on the 28th. And they asked me what we wanted to discuss, and I told them that I didn't know. So, because I didn't want to act on behalf of city council. So they need to know when, if they can join in or would like to do it with us, and then what we want to discuss in that workshop.
I thought I understood it to be a budget workshop. Go ahead, Tony.
Suzanne asked us if we would do it on the Thursday of the EDC meeting, and I assumed that she was going to, once we said yes, I assumed she was going to reach out to them.
Okay, so
That still hasn't happened last I.
do you know, have any update on that, on the joint workshop?
I can put it down to follow up on it.
But I do appreciate and agree with the idea of doing the two parking lots together, or at least proposing that together.
Should be cheaper for all of us.
I would think so. Okay, so moving on. Oh, we need to
Call
vote
for
on that
vote.
postpone, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Item D, discussion and possible action on RFQs for a forensic audit. Darcy.
Yes, I've asked for this to be put on the agenda. As we all know, at least for the last two budget cycles, we've had issues with making sure that the right numbers are in the right places. Also, we've had 2 or 3 treasurers now. We've all gotten emails, hey, this money's moved from this account to this account. We've done different items on our agendas to move monies from one account to another and then back to different accounts. I would like professionals to come in that aren't just regular auditors. Regular auditors come in to audit and make sure that the final number is there, and that's pretty much it. A forensic audit, they will go down to the penny and make sure that each penny is in each account that it's supposed to be in, that it's done correctly and appropriately, and I feel that that is desperately needed. One, to make sure that everything is there and it's supposed to be there, we're confident about that. Then also to give whatever treasurer is hired that step that they need when they come in, they get a clean slate, it's right, it's there, and all they have to do is come in and take off working. And you know, it's there should be no blame for the person before them. So that's where I'm at. So
You have a comment, Jerry?
Just a comment question. What makes you feel, I want to challenge in here, okay? What makes you feel that we need a forensic audit? Because my understanding of forensic audit, not in all cases, but in typically, a forensic audit is called for whenever there's suspected illegal activity.
That's,
Do you suspect anything like that?
it's certainly possible.
Okay.
We've had so many
Good enough.
different people come in. We've had 3 different treasurers since I've been here on council. Too many hands in the pot. And different things are in different accounts, and we need them in the right spot. And we can't be sure, as people that were elected to these positions, to take care of the city money, city taxpayer money, that they're in the right spot, the right people have access, and only the right people have access unless we do a forensic audit. And that is the only way for that to happen.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, that could be true. That makes sense, so to speak. But there's also other type of audits that can be done, and I'm not here to educate. This is just my knowledge on it. Such as an internal financial audit. It doesn't go in the same direction as a forensic. A forensic audit, they're going to do a lot more documentation for like court appearances and that kind of stuff, in case it's ever needed. Whereas maybe, and I can't say for sure, but maybe an internal financial audit may be more appropriate. But maybe you've got some additional insight into that.
We have an internal audit every year, or actually an external audit done, and to me it's not good enough. We hire the same company to do it all the time. I'm not confident in their findings.
Okay.
I don't suspect that anybody's stealing anything, but the only way to know that is to have this done, and the only way to know everything's where it's supposed to be is to have this
And
done.
I certainly am not going to argue with any of that, if that's your knowledge on it.
Yes, Tony.
I would like to ask, when you talk about an internal audit, Jerry, who would do that? Who's educated enough internally to do that?
Well, CPA firm. Okay.
Oh, okay, when you said internal, I thought you meant internal.
No, this is still, what we have done now.
It would still
at
be
least my-
contracting outside to do something, okay. Okay.
My understanding of what we have done now is actually an external audit. And they do just look at the things you mentioned, so exactly of the case in what you were saying, but
Okay, well, I think I'm misunderstanding. Internal audit means somebody in-house, external means somebody out-house, out of internal house, not internal.
right.
Okay, so that's not adding up to what you're saying though.
Well, an internal financial audit is done by a CPA firm. Their
But we don't
external
have-
auditor, I mean, I know how you're looking at it.
Okay, that's why I'm missing something.
Yeah, I understand what you're asking,
Okay,
but it is different.
okay,
And they will go into more detail, but they won't go to the level of forensic, because they're gonna document things differently with a forensic audit, versus an internal financial audit, for example. But
And we might
that may
not
not
need
be
that.
comprehensive enough for what you're looking for. I don't know until I would know exactly what you're really looking at.
Jill.
Oh, I just wanted to say that when this came up the first time is when the auditors were here. And also I have to show the agenda to the attorney, so he's like, what's this about, blah, blah, blah. And when I talked to Haley Blocker, who works for Neffendorf and whatever their name is, about the forensic audit, she did say that, and so did the attorney, that there's some other kind of audit that, yes, a forensic audit is how you explained it, some kind of criminal activity, and their firm doesn't even do that type of audit. And she did suggest some other kind of audit, but it wasn't called forensic audit, and I don't remember what it was, because she and the attorney both said a forensic audit can be up to like $100,000, that they're very, very expensive. So, I can't remember what she called it, but something like what he's talking about, where you get a professional to come in, but unless you are really like suspicious of theft or criminal activity, that they can be very costly. So just, to let you know, I talked to the attorney and the auditors, and they don't do either type of those audits. They only do like our annual audits. They wouldn't even be in the running, so,
Okay.
RFQs, I think, are the best way to go.
And my comment after hearing, I think that the essence of what you want, I agree with, but I just think we should really examine the types of audits, and plan it in the budget and do the RFQs and everything. So maybe we could have someone come and talk to us about what the different types of audits are, and so you can really hone in, or we can hone in on what it is we want. Tony?
I agree. This is what Darcy's saying is definitely what we need. I have no idea what it's called. And I was agreeing with what you said, except for the postponement part. We need it sooner than later. So the putting it in the budget and working it out, whatever. So my suggestion is, and the reason I had my hand up was, can we write an RFQ that says we need an audit and write out our intention? And I really don't care what you call it, but we're looking for an auditor that will perform these things, that will go through our books and make sure that we have the right accounting in place, that we are properly, writing entries in and out, and that, you know what I'm saying, like describe what we want as opposed to calling it something and lost in translation.
I would just disagree in that I want to make sure the RFQ states the type of audit that we actually want, and not put a bunch of language in it that we think is going to cover stuff like.
But even definitions of, you probably will get multiple people. We want the bare minimum, and this is what we want. And it could be a piece of a forensic audit, it could be a piece of something else, but we don't want that whole full-blown thing. This is what we want. And so if you label it, you tend to lose and you also lose money.
Okay.
So you don't get what you want. And
Can we some way figure out how to approve what you're talking about, but at the same time, somebody that would want to be involved in it, in the meantime, gets with, say, our auditing company and explain to them exactly what you're looking for. Maybe they can provide assistance in the terminology or whatever we are dealing with here.
Yes, Darcy.
I'd like to see us actually go out for RFQs for a forensic audit. Doesn't cost anything. Get started. I would have liked to start it a month ago. That's what I asked for. Was told we were going to do it. Don't know why the feet are dragging so long. Kind of ticks me off, actually.
Was there a motion before? Or no,
Not
you're
yet.
just seeing.
Not
it on
yet.
the
I'm getting
agenda.
there. But I'd like to see us go out for RFQs. It doesn't hurt anything on a forensic audit. And then if we want a different kind of audit, we can go out for RFQs for that kind of audit as well. But if we go out for RFQs for a forensic audit, these different companies are going to send us, just like we have in our packet here, they're going to have it split out. This costs this costs that, just like that. And then we strike it out and say, oh, okay, we don't want this part. We don't want that part, So on that, I would like to make a motion.
Can I let Jerry comment?
We can discuss anytime.
Yeah.
This isn't a showstopper.
Go ahead and make your motion and we'll
I'd like to make a
continue.
motion that we go out for RFQs for a forensic audit.
Okay. Tony, seconds. Okay. Yes, Jerry.
Being what I think is going to end up being a different type of audit, the cost difference between, say, a internal financial audit versus a forensic audit is going to be huge, in my guesstimate. And it also most likely would involve companies that could do an internal financial audit, but they're not geared to do a forensic audit. So I have a concern it may knock out of the running. Some of the companies just won't even present an RFQ or an RFP. That's why I feel that we need to get the terminology a little bit down a little bit more, be more confident in what we're actually asking for in that RFQ, and that's why I did like the idea Tony had concerning that. I don't want to delay anything either. I can see that you feel there's urgency in it. So,
Yes, Tosh.
so perhaps the right language for the RFQ is a deep dive, detailed audit. I mean, that's what, that we asked for an RFQ for that, which is kind of what I was saying before. Don't tell them what they're gonna give us and ask for it to be itemized, and we can read on there what all they're gonna do with the cost, and that way it won't knock out anybody that may be too afraid to, because they don't meet the forensic piece of it.
Darcy, I mean, I fully support you, like, as the council member taking the lead on this, and I know, so are you willing to work with Jill on the language of the RFQ if we leave the motion a little bit looser and say, make a motion that, you will work with Jill to get the RFQ out with language as guided by maybe the attorney or whatever you wanna,
I would typically, get sample RFQs from the attorney, because their firm has done an RFQ for this, for other cities. So they'll give me a sample of what, and then we'll just change it. So when I get that, I'll send it to everybody, but you can look at it specifically. Because I'll have to request it from him, I don't have one, it's not something we do all the time, so I would have to get it. And then I'll send it out. So I think it's fine just to leave it.
as a financial audit as specified,
Detailed.
a detailed.
Yeah, detailed financial audit.
Do you wanna amend your motion?
And or forensic audit, just put them both in the motion, that way it's covered
It's
all the way
covered.
around.
Okay,
Like to amend my motion?
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
okay. Like to amend my motion to specify a deep audit, detailed audit.
Deep
Detailed.
Deep dive, detail.
Detailed audit and or forensic audit.
okay.
I
And
will second the
that
amendment.
change, okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Thank you, Darcy. And council. Item 7 is closed session. The city council will meet in closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551074, personnel to conduct interviews for city administrator position. Okay, it's 6:38.
Okay.
Now,
7:12, and we are reconvening the regular meeting of the city council. Item 8, action following closed session. After deliberation in closed session, the city council will reconvene in open session to take any final action necessary for item discussed in closed session. Yes, Tony.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion that we have the mayor pro tem, with the assistance of the city attorney, begin negotiations to hire Erica Berry as city administrator.
Okay, motion and a second by
I'll
Sherry.
second that.
Is there any further discussion at this time? Okay, then, all in favor? All in favor, none opposed. And item 9, requests and announcements. Request by council to place items on agenda. Yes, Tony.
I'd like to place on the agenda, beginning of a new ordinance regarding non-licensed motorized vehicles in the city limits.
ooh, that should be fun.
Say
Say-
that again.
yeah, please say that again.
Non-licensed motorized vehicles, and I mean, I say it like that because, I want it to be all-inclusive to things that don't have license plates that are motorized.
A tractor? It's my
Tractor,
Oh,
a
that's-
go-kart,
Four-wheelers, mini
four-wheeler,
motorcycles.
ATV, golf carts,
all of it.
all of it.
Gambit.
A whole gambit, because if you don't, then somebody will find a loophole and we will not have covered it. So,
Anybody else have a request?
I think we have quite a few from before, right, that we were trying to divvy out. Don't we still have stuff?
I do believe on our next agenda, we should have, the proposal from the Methodist Church about the parking lot, is that right?
We're getting, I think they just got 3 bids, I think I heard today or something.
Okay.
Thought we were gonna have a workshop. Sorry, Jerry.
With the EDC?
That, one doesn't exclude the other, yeah. I think I said that.
And maybe
Yes,
it's
Jerry.
occurred and I missed it somewhere, but, update on our street project. Engineer, contract, whatever. We should have been working on it by now, I thought.
I think it's about to roll out. I don't wanna get into discussion.
Yeah, I have an update,
I
but
think
I
maybe
can't really
just
talk
you need
about
an
it.
update.
I'll send an email out.
Thank you.
Any further requests? Yes?
Was the
ma'am?
short-term rental thing ever finalized?
Nope.
Is that still tabled?
Yep,
And we're still sitting there paying high
You talk-
cost?
Yeah.
yep.
And there's nobody sitting in the short-term renters. So that has
Are you
not been,
asking-
that hasn't been on the agenda. I'm asking for it,
Okay.
because it's.
So you're talking
it's
about the utility accounts
the short-term rental, the utility
for
accounts.
residential properties?
Yeah. It's just, that, I mean, it got tabled and it never got brought up again.
Okay, then, any announcements? I think I have one. Oh, bear with me, let me find
Sure, it's somebody's birthday somewhere. Not mine.
my,
Will just passed.
Will just had one.
birthday was 2
Happy
days
birthday
ago.
last
Happy-
Saturday.
Birthday, Will.
Thank you.
See?
happy birthday.
Congratulations. You
There
made it another year.
is an event next Friday, the 15th, at Village of Hope, which is the Arthur Nagel Helping Hand Complex. The Silver Stage has gotten a pretty massive donation for distribution, which includes a lot of feminine hygiene products, baby products, household cleaning, toiletries, and things like that. That we're gonna be giving away there. Arthur Nagel will provide, they'll be doing some screenings, like I think blood sugar, blood pressure, things like that. The health department will be there, I think WIC will be there, Vaccinate Bandera will be there. So it's a kind of a big resource project, big team, community-based organization event on Friday the 15th from 10 to noon.
I wish Lions Club would have known, because we
We
do
gotta get together on that,
hearing
actually.
and seeing.
It's not too late.
Yeah, but we have to rent a bus to come. Not rent, but
I need to talk with you. Okay. Any other announcements?
I think so.
Okay, item 10. Yes,
I'd like to make a motion
yes, sir.
to
I'll second
adjourn
his
this meeting.
motion.
Okay, motion and a second. Discussion, all in favor? All in favor, none opposed.